Chelsea with a lot more work to do, certainly before the start of the season. Let's hear from Maresca.
We still confuse something on the ball and off the ball. That for me, it's normal in this moment when we are trying to do something new. But for sure, game after game, training after training, we're gonna be ready. What was very important to realize today was the difference between us and them in terms of physical condition. You can see that they played already 3-4 official games, and they're gonna start very soon the official season. While for us, you can see that we struggle a little bit physicality.
Let's welcome in, shall we? Look at that, former Chelsea defender Frank Leboeuf joins us. Frank, is this a big deal from Chelsea's perspective?
Well, the result of the performance, the result is not a big deal because it's a friendly game. The performance can be considered as a big deal because, I mean, you are Chelsea Football Club and you always want to show your best when you play under your colours. It's a big deal in the way that Mr. Maresca tries to express, what he feels, which is quite normal. We can give him some time, to make sure that the players understand what he wants. But I'm sorry, in the reality of a football live game, when you receive a ball, you have to know before receiving the ball where you're going to give the ball. That's what normally you have to do. And I'm sorry, when Sanchez gets the ball on the third goal, for example, that he has to go further and try to catch Colwill instead of giving the ball, which is a big trap to Badiashile, that's something you cannot work on. That's something natural. The thing natural is don't put your teammate in trouble, giving him a ball that is impossible for him to deal with. And also, what Fofana doesn't do on the second goal, when even Sanchez shouts at him two times, West, and he doesn't see who's behind him, that's something that you don't have to work on that. It has to come naturally. You have to turn your head left or right as a defender to know exactly what's going on behind you. So I want to give him some chances to change some stuff. But players are already formatted, to be the player they are. So it's going to be hard to change them. If they have a lack of information at first before receiving the ball, still going to be an issue for them. So I don't see how can you improve that. Hopefully he has something special and he will show it to us.
Frank's saying that Maresca's already a failure as a manager. It's a bit harsh, isn't it, Robbo, considering that he's just come in, he hasn't had much time with these players.
He hasn't had much time, but the words that worried me for him was that the players are a bit confused what they're doing on and off the ball. Now, the best coaches I worked under, and there was a couple of coaches I would say, that they came into a new club and they said they're going to focus on one thing. This is the way we want to play with the ball, and this is where the areas we're going to play it, and then we're going to make sure after 4 or 5 weeks we've got that fully developed. Once we develop that, then we can go to the next stage.
So what's the first thing you think he should be doing?
First thing is that. Well, I think the first thing he's talking about doing is playing out from the back.
Right.
And I think, and Frank's absolutely right, the goalkeeper needs to realise that ball has to go longer. But he's probably said to them, whatever you do, play out from the back. We're going to get players on the ball and make things happen. So the goalkeeper's in two minds now. Do I go longer, as I probably want to do, or do I do what the manager's said? We've got to play out from the back. We've got to be composed on the ball. We've got to make sure we get it to the centre halves. So he's gone with what the manager, or he thought the manager would want.
Right.
It's the wrong pass. So I think if that's what he wants to do, and that's what he's talking about before the game, you talked about James Ollie, he was talking about we've got to be more, we've got to be better playing out from the back. That's what you've got to focus on to start with. Then you can go to the pressing and the defensive side of the game after 3 or 4 weeks when you know exactly that you've got the other part of it right. He looks as though he's confusing the players by trying to do too much too soon.
I saw it totally differently. I thought that third goal was the least of Chelsea's concerns. Listen, you just start, and admittedly, Celtic are far further ahead in their pre-season. But building out at the back and kind of getting those understandings and building those relationships with your back four in the case of Sanchez, I think that comes with time, that comes with games in the pre-season. But all the other 3 goals, and the other 3 goals weren't the only instances it happened, Celtic did nothing special to create the opportunities. There was no big switch of play. There was no Toni Kroos or Luka Modric spin out of pressure in the midfield. It was just a couple of wall passes, ball over the top, and Celtic were in. It was the most basic of defending that Chelsea were unable to do. So I get the point that, yes, it's still early. Maresca has a lot to do in terms of pressing. But just in terms of basic defending, I thought Chelsea were just so poor on the night and were exposed as a result.
Yeah, it's a beginning. Yeah, physically they are in a different stage than the Scottish, but it makes a difference. But again, as the guy said, the goal they conceded there is not something demanding on it. It's just realizing how you have to work all together, you have to compensate, not only the 4 defender, also the midfielder, because on the first goal, is one of the midfielders should have come to block a little bit the guy who scored the goal. So it's a teamwork. They may be not ready because they're not physically ready, but I still see some stuff that they will have to work on a lot, and that's the defensive aspect of the game. They're not playing together right now. They don't communicate in a proper way together. Is it because physically they're not ready? Maybe. So let's see the next game.
Sanchez, of course, started it in goal. Philippe Jorgensen, of course, looks like he's set to join Chelsea for over £20 million. Sid was on yesterday's show. Basically, he said, watching this goalkeeper throughout the season with Villarreal, there was nothing, Shaka, that stood out to him that thought, wow, yeah, he's going to make a great impact when he moves on to a bigger club.
We'll have to see how this kind of pans out in terms of his own ability and again, how he continues to improve.
Is goalkeeper a priority for Chelsea?
I wouldn't say it's a priority. I mean, you can't keep every season saying, right, we're not happy with that goalkeeper, get another one in and let's try, oh, we're not quite happy with that one, let's try another. Because I think they're much of a muchness. Jorgensen, I saw him have 2 very good games for Villarreal. I saw him have a couple of poor games.
Right.
Is he going to be any better than the others? I'm not sure he is. You know, and Chelsea have tried and tried and tried to keep changing the goalkeepers after Petr Cech and Courtois. It's never quite worked for them.
Frank, are you excited by this prospect?
If I may say that way, because I want to give a chance to that and see how he can produce. Because that's true that after Courtois and Petr Cech, I have to say that goalkeepers have been struggling in the Chelsea net, and that I want to see something different. And I haven't been very pleased with the performances of what is his name.
Petrovic?
Not
Sanchez?
Petrovic and Sanchez. The one before we went on loan to Madrid.
Yeah, Kepa.
Kepa, sorry. So I want to see something
Check.
different. You know,
Courtois.
what you're showing. What you're showing about Jorgensen is very enthusiastic, because what I see, it's not something I've seen with the other goalkeeper. But after what Robo said, and yesterday James and also Sid, I'm a little bit concerned. If we have the same goalkeeper that we already have, what's the point to have a new one and change? But I want to believe that we'll have an improvement, and we're going to see something fantastic from Jorgensen.